Carbon Boys for sale. Carbon Boys on the market for sale. Conor Gallagher and Trevor Chalobah are on the market and have been put up available for sale by the ownership group. How do you guys feel about it? Guys, welcome back to the Chelsea Godfather channel. You all can feel it in my voice. It's that nervous laughter. It is what it is, guys. Why? Because those are our boys. I mean, Gallagher, Chalobah. These are two boys that bleed blue. There's not one single Chelsea fan out there that has any doubt as to the commitment level and the love that both Gallagher and Trevor have for Chelsea FC. And so, as a Chelsea fan, who obviously loves to see our young boys work their way up the system from the academy and work their way all the way up to the first team. I mean, that is the dream. That's what gives us pride as fans. In as much as the players themselves derive pride from that, we as fans also derive a lot of pride from seeing our products work their way up the system and play with the big boys and lift big trophies at the highest level. That's the whole dream. And so, waking up this morning and seeing that not one but two of our boys are now on the market, I mean, that just kind of was a bit of a head scratcher for me. But the issue is what is the reason, the reasoning behind these personnel moves? I mean, does this thing make sense? Because I mean, if you look at it from both sides, you can make some kind of argument on both sides. I mean, I just gave you the one argument, which is these are our boys. We know that they're going to just run and die for this club, right? It's not that they're slouches. I mean, they can ball. I mean, they can play. I mean, we've seen Gallagher score for Chelsea. We see him run just literally run his socks off each time that he's worn the blue shirt. And the same can be said of Trevor. We remember that memorable day at the bridge, his first appearance where he scored that goal, I believe from like 25 or 30 yards out. Nice strike, scored the goal, and was in tears because that was his dream. That was his dream, realized. So it's like these dreams are now being snatched away from our Carbon Boys. And obviously, some members of the Chelsea fan base are up in arms. They're not really happy about this decision. But guys, remember what I always tell you all: business is not personal, right? Business is not personal. From a business perspective, the question, right? The question to ask is, if you're able to upgrade on any one or two players or three players or any player, you have the chance to upgrade on that player, get a better player or a player that can better fit the current system that you have in place, the current manager that you have in place, and the current philosophy that the directors are implementing in this club. If you have a chance of making a swap and bringing in another player who is a better fit, who arguably is a better player, and in terms of cost, financial consideration as well, it's similar cost. So for it's not going to cost you anything, right? The net effect is negligible, right? In the short and in the long run, in terms of financial cost, but then you have a better player on your hands. from a business consideration, that's the move that you should make. So let's take it one play at a time. With regards to Connor, Gallagher, guys, we already know the three names that we have been heavily linked with. Um, Obviously, there's been tremendous moves being made for to sign Mohamed Kudus from Ajax. I mean, I will not be surprised if that deal gets wrapped up by the end of this week, because it's been picking up steam. Then number two, you also have Michael Olise, who only has a 35 million pound release clause. So that one is pretty straightforward, right? It's just a matter of activating his release clause, reaching personal terms with the player, and that deal, is going to get done. So obviously, I think the hang up there may be the fact that the player himself, if you all recall, I believe he had a hamstring or some sort of injury during the Euros under 21 for France. So that may or may not be a consideration. But in any event, that's a doable deal, right? And then the third player who, I'm not sure how serious that is, because that's a little bit of a long shot from my perspective, would be Rayan Shirky, the brilliant midfielder from Lyon. Obviously, he's 19 years old. You all have seen him. Reminds us of who knows, possibly the next coming of Eden Hazard, and his fee is somewhere between 45 to 50 plus million. It's within range. So the point being that if you could swap, right, any of these players, any one or even two of these players for Gallagher, guys, in as much as we love our boy, we're gonna really think long and hard and try and see if we can get that deal done. And I think that's part of the thought process here. It's not about trying to be emotional, right, about the fact that we love one player, but in terms of the goals and the objectives of Chelsea, trying to get to top four and trying to just go upwards and onwards, top four, and then winning trophies like we used to do. So you're gonna have to make some tough decisions along the way, right? With regards to Trevor, Chalobah. Again, he's a good player. He's a versatile player. But he's also been a player that has struggled. He has been a player that has struggled a bit to impose himself as a regular in our defense, and that's just what it is. That's not to say that he's not a good player. He's a good player in the right system, in the right setup, in the right environment. He's gonna thrive. But for me, right, I don't see Trevor as being able to step into that void, right? Into that void that's pretty much left wide open by the injury to Wesley Fofana, because Thiago Silva is up in age. Silva is up in age, and Silva is not going to be able to match up well against every single attacker this season. There's going to be games. There's going to be quite a lot of games, believe it or not, that even if Silva is fit, given the fact that we're playing four at the back, that means two central defenders, that Silva's going to have some matchup problems trying to keep up with these newer and younger and faster and skillful attackers. And so you're going to need to rotate Silva. That's the reality. And the other part of the reality is that Silva right now is still way better than Trevor. That's just the sad fact, the sad truth. So the point being that that even if we know that, listen, Silva is going to need some help because he can't keep up, we still cannot afford not to start him because Trevor is not ready. Trevor is not ready right now to hold down the mantle. And Fofana is injured for the whole season, and nobody knows what shape that he's going to be in when he returns next season. He may need probably half of the season just to get up to speed. Chelsea does not have that type of time. We don't have that type of time. There's a lot of money that's been invested. The expectations are very high. And so that's why, if there's a possibility again to do a swap deal, like I just keep mentioning these swap deals, if you can do a swap deal, if you can offload Trevor, raise 35 or 40 million, and go ahead and pick up Mark Guehi from CP, right? Crystal Palace. If you can get a player like Guehi from Crystal Palace, let's not even bring up the fact that Guehi is actually our boy. He's actually our Cobham product. But that's beside the fact because it's not even relevant. Guehi is a very good defender. He's a player that if you buy him right now, you can swap him between him and Thiago. Eventually Thiago is going to be on the bench because this is Thiago's last season, and so Guehi is going to be starting a lot of games for us if we're able to actually bring him in. So I feel that these are the things that are basically pushing the possibility of offloading two of our Cobham boys, right? So as it turns out, Gallagher had a bid rejected, £40 million bid rejected. West Ham bid £40 million. Yesterday it was turned down. Guys, West Ham, you guys just picked up $105 million for the Declan Rice deal. You're gonna have to offer a little bit more of that money to make it work. And West Ham hasn't even signed any players this summer. I think they're the only club that hasn't signed any players, and so they have a Declan Rice sized hole in their midfield, so they need help. And so they're just going to have to, either increase their offer or, Gallagher is either going to stay with us or, we're just going to go ahead and offload him to Spurs or to Newcastle. And then on the other hand, we have Trevor who there appears to be some interest from our friends, our quote-unquote friends from Italy, Inter Milan. I mean, we just cannot get away from these guys. We have Trevor. Inter actually wants Trevor, and there appears to be some discussions that's going on between Inter Milan and Trevor. And so let's just see how these things go, because again, as I mentioned, it's all about doing what's in the best interest of Chelsea FC, so we can see if we can go ahead and finish top 4 this season and get back to the Champions League next year. Guys, like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. Peace.